mean, I thought that was the difference in the game. They didn't shoot it great tonight,
Right.
you know, and obviously I don't think we didn't. I mean, we shot it okay, not great either, but there was a lot of threes that went up. But I thought the rebounding really was a major problem, you know, and just I think when we had some because when we got rebounds and we were able to get out of transition, that's when we were kind of at our best. But the game got slowed because we either fouled, you know, or we couldn't grab rebounds, and then, you know, they're able to set their defense. But I thought that was a huge part of the game. I think it was 25 points or so on second chance opportunities.
I guess, you know, larger point related to that. You know, you're basically sending out their small roster every game. You know, and I saw, I don't know how many minutes you put Smith with Vucevic. You know, they were playing their two big guys pretty much the whole game. You know, are you in a situation where if you don't have a high percentage of threes, it's going to be tough because of that size variance that you're going to face almost every game?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of, like to your point, we're going to deal with it every night, right? And I was just trying to find different ways just to get it off the glass a little bit more. And I want to see the film. I really felt like in the first quarter in Boston, we didn't do a very good job. And then I thought as the game wore on, we got better. We were never able to get it kind of under control, personally, from what it felt like on the bench. But we're gonna have to do that, and there's gonna be times where we really battle and fight and try to block out, and just may not be good enough. And then there's times where if we're not doing that, we really don't have a chance. So, you know, it's something we're gonna have to deal with, you know. And to your point, yeah, I think that the thing that's happened to us that we're having to overcome, like everybody has, I think, a formula of things that happen that they have to overcome. For us, teams are taking more shots than us, generally because of second chance points and the fouls. And then the other part of it too is the rim differential and the number of attempts at the rim and the shooting percentage at the rim. So we're gonna have to do some things to try to manufacture things in transition, some easy baskets, some transition points, some open threes, to do some of that, to offset it. But again, I wanna see the film, but I felt like we could have done a much better job on the glass than we did tonight.
So that's sort of the thing, I mean, you basically said it, but is that sort of the message each game to your team that, look, you know, we're going to be at a disadvantage for size, so we got to do these things, A, B, C, and D, to make up for that?
I don't necessarily word it that way to them. I mean, it's more like we have to play stylistically. To your point, like if with Holiday and White, and they had Horford out there, you know, whoever else, Tatum, Brown, with their length and size. If we're gonna line up and play in the half court for 48 minutes, we're gonna have a really hard time. Forget about defensively, offensively. You know, we're gonna have to generate transition points. So I think there's a style we have to play with our group that puts us in the best chance competitively, you know, and I do think it's running. But I'm not sitting there saying, hey, listen, they've got all the size and they've got this, and this. You know, we better take a bunch of threes and run. I think we have to do that every night, regardless of who we play against. And I think that's the identity we got to play with. And I do think we're sharing the ball, moving the ball. I think if you look at the numbers and the metrics, you know, our shots on uncontested situations is really, really good. I think our ball movement's been pretty good. You know, we've had several games close to 30 assists. I think they're very unselfish. But there's certain things we don't have any margin for error. And if we miss blockouts when we could be doing a better job blocking out, and sometimes it's hard, you're in rotation. It's not like it's man on man all the time. Sometimes you have to search out somebody and hit somebody. But if we're gonna end up not doing that to the very best of our ability, then we're gonna have a hard time.
Well, you had Caruso the last few seasons, obviously, and not saying he, in a hypothetical world, would guard Tatum, but when you have an all-NBA defender like that in the past and you don't now, how hard does that make it as a coach? Like, what are the options when a star player on the other team is performing like that and you don't have that lockdown defender?
Yeah, I mean, it's challenging. We've got to try to do it together. And he got it going. I thought there was there were certainly possessions where I thought we defended well and he made a tough shot. There were some possessions where I thought he drove us back and got us below the three-point line, and he, with his size, shoots over you. I think I mentioned before the game, they take more off the dribble threes than anybody, and they're really good at it, and he got it going. There was a couple blown coverages, quite honestly, in terms of some blitzes we didn't get there to. We tried to hit him a few times with two people to try to get the ball in his hands. You know, all those things, you know, we're going to have to do different things. But yeah, it's hard. Like, we don't have a guy that we're going to sit there and say, just play this guy. And, you know, he's going to get over screens and pick and roll. And then, you know, you're dealing with either Porzingis and pick and roll with him, or you're dealing with, you know, Tatum and Brown, you know, pairing up. And you know, they create dilemmas, you know, for you and challenges for you. And for us, it's gonna have to be, like I've said this from day one, we've gotta do different things schematically to try to change things up as much as we can. We tried to play some zone a little bit tonight. When they went a little bit bigger, try to do some different things. But again, I think some of that's okay, you know, guys in this league are gonna have nights like that, but it's the other things that are around it. And it, to me, tonight, I thought it was the rebounding, you know, for us. And we did a pretty good job in Boston. I just didn't think we did nearly as well. And to their credit, they doubled down on who they are. That's what they've done. They've offensive rebound. They've been good at it. They doubled down and came right back at it and did it better. I mean, that's what you talked about before the game. You know, for us, we're gonna have to do everything a little bit better because they're gonna try to do everything better. And certainly they did much better than we did tonight there.
What do you think is going on with Kobe?
I don't think anything's really going on with him. You know, in terms, I don't really see anything. I think when I've been around Kobe for the years, he's had these stretches before where he hasn't shot the ball well. I have the utmost confidence in him because of his work ethic and his mentality, and he'll work his way through it. You know, I talked to him a couple games ago, you know, when he wasn't shooting the ball well, and you know, he said to me, he's like, I really felt like I had really good looks and shots that he normally knocked down. He felt good about them. You know, I just think he's just got to stick with it. He's very, very driven and persistent, and he'll figure things out. But he's had stretches, you know, last year where he was on that tear for like 6 weeks, and then he had another 3 weeks where he really wasn't maybe quite as good. But as long as he's taking the shots when they're there, which I think he's doing, he's going to end up after 82 games. He's going to have a really high percentage, in my opinion.
Billy, going back to the formula you were talking about in terms of like finding ways to generate more shots for you and the transition stuff. Having seen this team now back-to-back nights, and just in general, kind of thinking about like second time through, third time through, seeing some of these teams, do you feel like they're adjusting to the pace that you guys are trying to like off makes, just running? Do you feel like they're kind of?
I mean, nah, man, not really. I don't think they're. I mean, listen, when you see a team over and over, you see a team in, you know, 2 times in 3 days. Certainly, it's a lot more familiarity. I don't want to take that away from them, you know. And then you get scouting, and you're going against them, and you can make some adjustments and changes and things like that. But you know, there's still. I think when you're dealing with transition defense, right? No matter who it is or what happens, like every transition situation is never the same. The floor is not spaced the same. Different ball handler, guys running to different spots. Someone's running to the rim. Maybe this guy's running. So it requires total communication and getting matched up. Yeah, it's really hard to do. I think the 2 hardest things to do in the game are to get back in transition and to close out and contain the ball. Those are the 2 hardest things. So when the ball is coming down the floor like that, you know, I still felt like we generated stuff in transition. When we got stops and rebounded the ball, we were really, really good. We even had some situations in made baskets where we just one dribble up, advanced it, and created some corner threes. So I'm sure they're more familiar, just like we're more familiar with them. But I didn't think that we could get as much transition in the game as I would have hoped because of the offensive rebound and taking the ball out.
I feel like, I want to preface this what you're saying. I know this had nothing to do with the game. 0.
Okay.
I still have the question. I just want to know, like, what you're saying and what's your response when you see a bounce pass lob.
I was not happy about it, you know, personally, because I think you got to find a way to get the 2. And you know, I trust Lonzo a lot because he's obviously a creative and he's a terrific passer. But thank God we did get the 2 out of it, which was good.
Can you tell us like what you say to your coach? Do you go, you know,
What do I say? I don't know. I probably don't say good things to myself.
just curious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Billy.
We're open.